Welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor players how to play the game while criticizing current players. I am one of your three co-hosts, but only two tonight. Josh Wessler, joined today by Ryan Stacy. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, Derek's not with us tonight. We have some COVID crap happening within the friend group. So yep, we're just that Derek can't be here tonight. Simple as that. Don't want to point any fingers at anybody. So
Oh yeah, it's definitely yeah. Who knows who that could be? Definitely not related to my voice. Maybe sounding a little bit raspy here.
Derek can't be here, but Josh and I will hold the fort and be sure to make fun of Derek for his terrible takes because
we did get them.
He watched the episode. He texted everything in. So we'll be able to still make fun of Derek, as is tradition around these parts. So we just watched episode 9, which is called What About the Big Girls, which is a fun episode. I like this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I figured I was going to enjoy it. It's a nice little twist on regular Survivor, but it's very strategy heavy, as you would expect from having two tribals. So yeah, I overall enjoyed it. Some of the decision making was interesting. So
some was bad
to go over that.
Yep. So tonight's episode, they divided into two groups of 5, 2 tribal councils, 2 people won immunity, 2 people got voted out. And there was some really fun stuff here.
Excited to get into it.
So let's just get into spoilers right now. So 3, 2, 1, spoiler alert. I lost my winner pick tonight.
Ha ha ha.
It's a bummer. The only good news.
So now not only is your actual winner pick out, but whoever you were going to who you would have gone with if his name wasn't Ryan is also out from earlier this season.
Yep. The only good news is Ryan was not winning this season. No way. So I was looking at am I gonna get to the end and get second, maybe third, and have a terrible draft pick in our other league next season? So I'm okay going out here because I'll have the 4th pick next season instead.
Oh, there you go.
So it's fine. I stayed true to my Ryans.
Yeah, and now we get a new winner pick from you.
Yep, which we'll do towards the end of the episode. We'll recap it, and then we'll get into all of our hot takes and opinions.
What a tease. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Ready to jump into episode 9 here?
Let's do it.
Okay, so it turns out last week, Owen was supposed to be left out of the Janine vote. That was a James call. He didn't want anyone to tell Owen that Janine was going. And last minute, Gabler filled him in. So so he did vote correctly, but I think he plays up being left out. Because who was the person who was left out last time? I think it was Cassidy. Is what we saw. Yeah. So Owen just kind of plays this up, and it seems like everyone thinks he was on the outs, but he wasn't actually. But either way, Owen is pissed at James, and he, Sammy, and Gabler all want James to go next.
Yeah, and this goes back to James basically saying you voted for me, so why would I tell you what we're doing? Why would I tell you the right move that's going to be made here tonight? So he has a point. I think he gets a little hung up on it, but at the same time, overall it shouldn't matter that much. But
you need to be able to get over stuff in Survivor. Don't forget. Just forgive. At least say it, and then maybe you can use that person later on. I think there's a couple of people. I think Owen and James got too hung up on the past. And then Ryan and Cassidy, I think the same thing happened with. You need to be able to overcome past crap, work together to make the best move for your game.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad because we haven't had a lot of, feuding so far this season. And, the last episode or two is we finally are starting to get it with, like you said, James and Owen and Ryan and Cassidy. Okay, well, there goes all of that. So I think it's going to be a pretty, I'm not going to say a pretty amicable ride down till the end of the season, but there's probably not going to be anything too disruptive.
Yeah, one-on-one feuds typically don't last very long in Survivor. The second one of them has a shot, they usually take that person out. It might last and a couple episodes of the pre-merge just because they don't go to tribal council, but as soon as we get to the merge, one of them's going. So that's why there's always been this idea for a Survivor rivals season, which I really like. 2 famous rivals, you put them on, and just tribes are rivals. The problem with that is usually one way outlasts the other.
Are you saying like a captain season or?
No, like a full like half and half. You divide it like a blood versus water, but with rivals.
Oh,
Like
gotcha.
Corinne and Sugar would be a good one.
On
Um,
opposite teams or on opposite tribes or on the
I
same
think you
tribe?
put them on the same tribe. What the fuck? So you have like two
18 people or
tribes,
whatever. Yeah.
20 people, and each tribe is just combustible. Like you have Chris Noble and Dominic from Ghost Island would be another good one.
Just 5 sets of 2 on each tribe. I like it.
Be great. It would be really, really fun. Abby, Maria, and anyone she's ever played with. It'd be great. I love that. I love the idea. I hope Survivor does that one day. If we do another All-Star season, that's what I want. I want Survivor Rivals.
They'll probably be tough nowadays to do, but I'm rooting for it.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan. So we're gonna go straight to the immunity challenge. We're gonna divide it into 2 teams of 5. We're gonna have the red group and the blue group. 2 people win immunity. 2 people go home. The last person standing overall wins reward for their team, and then they get to go to Tribal Council second and see what happened at the first one. So the red group: Cassidy, Jesse, Gabler, Ryan, and Cody. Blue group: Carla, Sammy, Noelle, Owen, and James. Shockingly, Carla's going to end up winning for blue, even though she's had this injured hand since the merge episode. She's going to win.
Good for her. Jeez.
Beast mode. And then Cody is going to win for the red group, and he's going to win overall. So he's going to get rewards. So we're going to send the blue tribe to Tribal Council first, followed by the red. And both tribes are going to get to separate beaches, sent to separate beaches. So there's no cross strategy.
Same thing as 41 and 42.
Yep. Which, we don't have to do this every season, but I do like this. I think it's fun.
Yeah, do it for for this season and the next one, since they're filmed back to back probably. Sure. And then maybe switch it up so it doesn't get too predictable. You don't want to have contestants start to plan for a twist like that. Otherwise you're probably going to run into the danger of centering your strategy around first getting to the merge and then lasting 2 or 3 votes, whatever means necessary, because that something like this is coming that's going to basically just coast you into the end game. And you don't want that. No.
But it is fun, and it worked out here. Yeah, I think it usually works out pretty well. It shakes the game up sometimes.
Oh yeah, it definitely was a shakeup that I mean, I've been enjoying this season, but I'll always take a shakeup.
Yep. I was ready for one. So should we just do... Well, I guess let's do all of the blue tribe planning, and then we'll do all the red tribe planning, and then we'll go to the true tribal councils, because they do go hand in hand a little bit here. There is some thought process put into how we're going to do it. So let's start with the strategy on the blue tribe. As a reminder, it's Carla and James, Owen and Sammy, and then Noelle. That is the breakup here, and Carla has immunity. So Carla and James, they obviously want Owen out. And at first, Noelle seems to be with them, but she's not really. But what gets really fun here is Owen and James have a heated discussion at the water well that spills into the camp with the 2 of them yelling at each other hilariously. And just a big dumb fight.
Yeah, you don't really get this too often, where an argument outside, just a one-on-one argument comes back to the camp. But Owen starts walking away because James isn't giving him an inch on working any strategy, which whatever, like that's fine. Yep. James probably could have done a little bit better job here, but I'm not going to fault him too much. Like it's pretty obvious where this is going to go. So Owen walks away and James just follows him and just continues the argument, and it just comes straight into camp, and everyone's just standing there like, oh, eats popcorn, just watching, eats papaya, just watching the argument.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last yelling at each other in front of other people fight we've had. The last one I can remember was Heroes, Healers, Hustlers between Ben Driebergen and Joe Mena. I'm trying to think of another one that's happened since.
There's no way it's been that long, really.
We've had other ones where it's just 2 people yelling at each other, which Winners at War had Ben and Adam, but it wasn't in front of other people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just struggling. There might have been maybe a little bit of with some Jeremy and Ben, a lot of Ben in Winners at War. But yeah, I'm struggling to think of more other recent examples of this.
Yeah, I thought that there was something in 41, but I can't really remember.
Yeah, but the real plan here is Noelle wants to do a big tricksy move use her steal a vote to steal Owen's vote, make James feel real comfortable, but actually use Owen's vote alongside Sammy to knock James out of the game. It's a great plan. She tells James this because she wants to make him feel comfortable so he doesn't play his knowledge as power or a shot in the dark. And brings in Owen and Sammy on this plan. And this is such a great plan. I really like this plan a lot. Might be a little overcomplicated, but it's fun.
This is genius. I loved this plan just because I don't think we've seen something like it before. Using the steal a vote in an ineffective way, vote-wise, in order to make one, if not two other people feel comfortable with where the vote is going. So you're not increasing the amount of votes that's going on here, like changing where they would have gone anyways. It's just kind of nullifying the potential for other advantages being played because they feel secure.
Yep. So she says this to James, and that way Owen won't be able to play a shot in the dark. James loves this. He's totally on board. He won't play his knowledge as power to steal Noel's vote, which he should have.
Which I mean makes sense from his point of view. It's just like, oh hell yeah, like that sounds good to me. You steal his vote, make sure he can't get the shot in the dark. Everything seems good.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I got so scared because I like James, but I really wanted him to go home because I want knowledge's power out of the game. I just want it gone. Sammy goes and talks to Carla because Sammy does want James out of the game, but he wants to keep working with Carla. So he really wanted to bring her in and get her on the same page to vote James out. And he tells her the whole plan. And I'm like, this is going to blow everything up. James is going to play knowledge's power and take the steal vote from Noel, and they'll use it to take out Owen. And the whole thing's going to fall apart. And I thought Sammy really blew it here. This was not a great idea, I think.
Yeah, I was pretty frustrated by this just because it seems like Sammy feels, at least from the way that I perceive it, Sammy feels like he needs to be a part of every vote in some way. If someone has a plan to, make a move and anything outside of a really straightforward vote. So Noelle using her steal a vote as a way to trick them and get James out. He feels like he needs to have his own little say or part of it to make sure that, he leaves his own imprint on the game and on each vote. And that kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't know if that's actually what he's trying to do or if he realizes that it seems like that's happening in that way, because this was completely unnecessary. Yeah, you want to be able to bring in Carla and vote with her, but it is so risky. So he has to know that if he goes forward with talking to Carly here, that it opens the possibility that this original plan might not end up working, and it's your fault.
Yeah, this is a huge risk. I would not have taken it. The only thing I will give, it's one of those things where we only see 1% of 1% what happens. How close are Sammy and Carla really? So it could be okay in the end. If we had more knowledge, there could be some footage out there that would make me feel comfortable with this. It really depends on how close they are, but based on what we know, don't do this.
The only thing that redeems it a little bit for me is that maybe he's thinking about the next vote. Maybe he's thinking about not even the next half of this episode, but like next week's episode completely. And if he's on Carla's good side and they vote together, we're gonna end up having new lines again this next episode, and I'm not really sure where they're gonna go. So maybe this is his process to be able to bring Carla and anyone else over to their side, so they don't end up being in whatever minority it ends up being.
Yeah, it's going to work for Sammy. Sammy pulls this off,
shockingly,
which is crazy. So I'll give him credit for it. I'm just assuming he knew more than we do. That's my big assumption, I guess. So this is going to work out. We'll get more into that at Tribal Council because I have some thoughts on what Carla does here that I don't really like. Well, let's go over to the red team and see what they're up to. So Gabler and Ryan, they want to take out Cassidy, and Cassidy wants to take out Ryan, which kind of leaves Cody and Jesse in the middle, with Cody having immunity. And reminder, Jesse has 2 idols. So I'm throwing a lot of criticism at Gabler, Ryan, and Cassidy tonight because I think those are the bottom 3. Those three need to get over their beef, especially Cassidy and Ryan, work together and take out Jesse. That is the right move. That's the only move for them.
You think that they're the bottom three in this group of five, or you think they're the bottom three in the entire cast left?
The entire cast left.
Ooh, interesting. I agree with Gabler and Ryan.
Yep.
I think we addressed that last week. I'm not sure about Cassidy. I don't know enough about it.
That's fair.
To be able to declare that. And I think that would be such a turn that it'd be I don't know how that would actually end up formulating.
Cassidy and Ryan need to be better players. That's how. No, I think Cassidy can only beat Ryan and Gabler at this point, and obviously that can change. But at this point in the game, I just don't see her having enough connections with people who are going to be on the jury. The only people she seems to really get along with is Carla and maybe Janine a little bit.
I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure. We got kind of a surprising confessional from Jesse saying that Cassidy's a really good social and strategic player. I know it's just one confessional, but that might be something.
She's certainly multiple tiers above Gabler and Ryan. And I do think Cassidy could definitely do something to change the game up and put her in a higher position. But at this point in the game, I think those are the bottom three. I think Cassidy needs to go to the end with Gabler and Ryan. So I think the three of them should be working together to take out Jesse. So from the get-go, I think this whole tribal situation's off on the wrong foot. And Jesse and Cody are very fortunate. They have this combination of people.
Yeah, I'll let you know who I think is at the bottom later on in the episode.
Yeah, to spoil mine, the two people who cannot win the game now, because Ryan's going to go home here, my two are Gabler and Cassidy. So really, it's Jesse and Cody who have control of this vote, and basically they're debating between Cassidy and Ryan. And they bring in Gabler on this as well. Their plan is to see how the first tribal council goes, because they don't want to piss off like Carla. So they decide if Owen goes home, they'll just play it safe, keep it simple, and take out Ryan. But if something crazy happens and James goes home, they'll just double down and knock Cassidy out as well, so Carla has nowhere to go. It's a good plan for those two. They're not going to go through with it, though.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what the point of this was, because it seemed, at least we didn't get a whole lot from Cody.
Nope.
But at least from Jesse's point of view, it seemed like he would have rather had Cassidy go home. Basically, he's like, Ryan's a physical player. And that's it.
And that's literally it.
So I don't know. As he was talking, I'm like, well, goodbye, Cassidy. It was a good run.
And between those two, for Jesse and Cody, it 100% should have been Cassidy.
Yeah.
Ryan is, he'll probably win a challenge or two down the stretch. Take him to the end, you'll destroy him. Yeah, if we have a final two with Gabler and Ryan, I think Gabler wins.
I still don't know about that one. Hard to know. I would like to see it though. That'd
be a fun funnel too, Ryan and Gabler. But yeah, Ryan is not good at this game. I like the guy. He seems like a great guy. He's too nice for Survivor. He's a perfect person to take with you to the end. So let's go to Tribal Council. We'll start with the blue group. Noelle is going to play her vote steal on Owen. And it's going to work perfectly. We're going to have 4 votes for James, 1 vote for Owen. Knowledge Power is knocked out of the game. Kingpin James is going to be knocked out of the game.
The Godfather.
This is a great move, but Carla knew this was going to happen. She could have taken action. She could have tipped off James. James plays Knowledge's Power to take the vote steal from Noelle. He saves himself, knocks Owen out of the game. Carla could have stopped this. And James is like her closest ally, besides maybe Cassidy. She could have stopped this. She could have saved her ally, and she doesn't. I think that's really bad.
Yeah, that's really surprising to me, just because I don't know where it leaves her going forward. And I'm not saying that she's going to be targeted next, but it really makes it so she's no longer in a power position.
Yep.
Which, just strictly looking at the perception of the game, it hurts you as you start to progress through to the end of the game. If you are there at the end, even if you played a good game earlier on, like if you're struggling at final 9 and you're kind of at the bottom in final 9, it might be a little bit tougher to sell people to give you their vote for $1 million. So I'm interested to see where she goes now. She still has Cassidy, who she's close with,
and an idol.
Other than that, and an idol, and apparently she's close with Sammy.
Yeah, apparently.
So, and Yeah, I'm interested to see what she does because she's been a really good player all season. So this was surprising.
Yeah. Really good move for Noel though. This is great. Glad to see Knowledge's power out of the game, and it was fun to see how salty James was.
Oh yeah, he was big mad.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
great.
gosh. I mean,
He,
understand, I would be too.
oh yeah. I mean, you get voted out of Survivor, you have the right to be mad.
Yeah,
I just,
especially in a blindside like this.
I would just hope you'd eventually get over it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that night, yeah, be pissed. You can absolutely be pissed you get the night you get voted out.
Yeah.
I would probably made me livid. I'd probably flip everybody else off on my way out the door. But
And this is worst case scenario too, because now you have to go and watch another tribal.
Yeah. But once I like got some sleep, I think I'd get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah. One burger at Ponderosa and you're good.
Some food, some sleep, you'll be fine.
A drink.
So let's move into the red group, and they're gonna come in and see James is gone. So it's like, okay, cool. We vote out Cassidy. Sounds great. Nope, 4 votes Ryan, 1 vote Cassidy. What a bad move.
I don't even really know what to say here. Like my winner pick is Cassidy. I get it. I want to see her stick around. I don't think Ryan's a great player. So I'm okay seeing him go, but none of that matters when we're talking about if it was the right move or not. You can beat Ryan.
Yep.
And he seems like he has been someone who is willing to work with you too. I mean, Cassidy does too. So I don't think that's as much of a factor, but it's still notable. It's not like he's someone that's, ready to turn on you at any second.
But yep, that's the end of Ryan. That's the end of my winner pick.
Rest in peace.
Ideally, this should have been Jesse, but Cassidy is better than Ryan, so this is just a mess all around. I lose my winner pick. Before we get into my new winner pick, let's go to Twitter. And every week we ask on Twitter, did the right person go home? I think you and I are in agreement that James was the right move, Cassidy was the wrong move, so a yes and a no. I'm checking Derek's text that he sent us to see if he said, but I don't know. I don't think he said if that was the right moves or not. But let's see what Twitter said.
Yeah, Twitter. There's actually 4 options this week because it was a double tribal. And in first place was 68.8%, which would round up to 69%.
Nice.
The favorite on Twitter is yes to both of them.
Ooh, half
the right
right.
person
Twitter
went home. The number 2 option at 25% is yes for James and no for Ryan, which is what we were saying.
Yep.
And then in third place, with 6% of the vote, is no to both.
Okay.
And then fourth place, no one voted for James as the wrong and Ryan as the right.
Okay, interesting. All right, that's funny.
And we got a decent amount of votes on that one, so like pretty good spread. It's surprising that no one voted for that third option.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So spotlight's on me now. I've lost my winner pick. Ryan's out of the game, so I got to find someone new. I think the big 2 for me are Owen and Carla, because Carla's got that idol. And she's played very well up until this episode. But my pick is Owen. I'm convinced Owen's going to win. I have been for a while, really since the merge started. I just see the story coming together. And maybe I'm way off, but I feel this is one of the most confident picks I've had in a while. Like Owen's got this.
Interesting.
Okay. It's rare that I feel confident about someone winning at the merge. But everything's coming together in my head for Owen. So I'm going to move on to Owen. I believe that's where Derek is as well.
Yep. Derek is sitting on Owen as well.
So you still have Cassidy. I'm going to move on.
OG.
And join. Yeah, Derek lost Lindsay. And the 2 of us are now on Team Owen together. So we'll see how that plays out for us. He'll probably go next week. All right, you ready to get into best and worst player of the episode?
Yeah, we can do that. We also got a few Twitter comments and replies. Do you want to do that now or do you want to do that later?
Sure, let's do that.
We have 4 of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Now, don't get too excited. 3 of them are from Derek.
Oh, well, okay.
So there is one other person who we'll save for last. So first, from Derek Kubicek on Twitter. He asked, is Jesse and Cody's move to vote out Ryan too conservative at this stage, or is it good to keep their options open with Cassidy and Carla?
It's a stupid move. That's my answer.
I would agree as well. Next, from Derek Kubicek on Twitter. He asks, why didn't Noel just steal James's vote?
That is definitely an option. That is she could have just gone in and just said, Jeff, I'm playing my steal vote now. I'm stealing James's vote. And he couldn't have done anything at that point.
Yeah, he could still use knowledge's power if there's another advantage in the game, if I'm understanding that correct. But there isn't, unless he knows about Carla's idol.
Yeah.
Like, there's not another advantage playable here. So, is Noel making it a little bit more complicated? Possibly. But I like it overall.
Yeah, she could have gone either way. It really is just a preference, how you want to do it. Do you want to make him feel nice and comfortable, or do you just want to go for the throat? And that depends on your style of play. Both can be very effective.
He might not vote for you in the end.
Yep.
Got to think about that. But
yep. What will James respect more? What do you think is more likely to work? So I'm gonna trust Noel on this one.
Yep. And also from Derek Kubicek on Twitter, why didn't Carla tell James to use knowledge's power?
That's the question I have.
Great question, Derek. We don't have an answer for you.
I don't know.
All right, and finally from a legitimate listener. So Blake Miller, which is at Philip Miller 70 on Twitter, asked, when Owen was arguing with James, everyone else did the right thing and stayed out of it. But do you think it's a good idea to start trouble if you think you're on the bottom?
Yes. If you are going, what are they going to do? Vote you out twice? Like, if you're going, Chaos is a ladder. Littlefinger, Karishma Patel, just spin things up. Christian Hubicki, one of the smartest people to ever play, in my opinion. That was kind of his theory. If you keep things spinning, it's less likely to land on you in the end.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. The only asterisk I'll put there is if you see a legitimate path forward that could be taken, maybe don't stir it up too much, because then that could be the reason why they go for you instead of for someone else. But if it is a very bleak outlook for your game, go for it.
Take the swing. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh no, you got voted out as survivor. You were getting voted out anyway. Like, just mix things up. That's the time to make a big move, is when you have bad odds of winning. That's the time.
Why not?
Do you want to read that other one you read last night?
Sure. Okay. And finally, we did get this other message from a political parody account, which I think is kind of funny. But the message was basically, and this is a long one, so stick with me here. Bear with me. Hey there. I'm a big fan of your podcast. Been listening to your weekly recaps of this season and loving the insight you give. I've been going through your rewind series as well and was listening to your All-Stars pre-merge episode earlier, and y'all dropped a fact that I'd never heard before about Johnny Fairplay being in the running for Sesternino's spot on the cast. This sounds like something that Ryan would drop.
Yep.
This got me thinking, and I realized what a huge what if this could have been for both guys and for the future of the game. If things had gone differently and Fairplay was on All-Stars and Rob was on Micronesia, we wouldn't get Rob's criminally early boot in All-Stars, probably would have got another good season out of Fairplay, wouldn't have had him quit in Micronesia, which would mean he would have been open to be cast in Heroes versus Villains, possibly shaking up that season in a big way for Russell and Parvati, which could lead to Boston Rob maintaining control and probably meaning that Sandra never wins a second time. Also, probably means there's no Redemption Island season. Obviously, all this is a big stretch, but if you guys ever do an episode on Survivor's Biggest What Ifs, this would definitely be a big one, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we need to go back in time and change things up to prevent Redemption Island from ever happening.
Hey, I understand it's a very long message that has a lot of connecting dots and what ifs and all this stuff. And yeah, sure, we would be losing out on a whole bunch of like really iconic people throughout the history of Survivor. But
it might make All-Stars
and have Redemption Island.
And in my opinion, it might make All-Stars and Heroes versus Villains watchable.
Well, I don't have anything against Heroes versus Villains. I know that you do.
Yeah. I those seasons could be better if you just change one piece. Who knows? And then, I doubt Rob would be the first boot on Micronesia, so we'd get that person around longer. I'm in favor of this. Let's try it. Multiverse, let's go.
There we go. Survivor's What If. No, I like the idea of doing an episode like that. It would have to be after we're done with
Yeah.
everything else, but maybe someday. Who
Well,
knows?
once
I'm not
Derek,
promising anything. This is not legally binding.
no, once Derek is actually becomes a full-fledged super fan, we could talk about it.
There we go.
So now let's jump into best and worst player of the episode. Josh, why don't you start us off? Just a reminder, 2 people got voted out tonight, so we can give out 2 bests and 2 worst tonight. Josh, who are your 2 best players of the episode?
Yeah, the first one was easy for me. It was Noelle. Just being the one to initiate that move, and it worked. So good for her. The second one was a little bit more difficult. I wanted to give Carla a little bit of credit because of her immunity, but this move was terrible for her game, at least on the surface it is. So I can't give it to her. And there really isn't a whole lot of people left, I think, that it's like way above and beyond good for. I am gonna go with Cassidy. I know you didn't like that she didn't turn on Jesse or anything like that. I think that was a little unreasonable to expect in this situation.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna knock her for that. And so she survived. We got a confessional from Jesse basically saying she has a good social and strategic game. Maybe her social game is just that good that they've decided to keep her around instead of someone that everyone should be able to beat in the end.
Well, I will agree with you on Noelle, obviously. I think she's the big winner tonight. My second one is actually, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to give it to Sammy because I don't feel great about anybody. On paper, I don't like the move. He executed this perfectly. He got exactly what he wanted. And, that might be a little bit of results-oriented thinking, but I am going to throw in the caveat that we only got 1% of 1%. I'm going to assume they were closer than the show has shown us. So there might have been a little more logic to Sammy's move. If there had been someone else I felt great about, I would have given it to them, but everyone else had big problems in their game tonight. So, Sammy's kind of the default pick, but he ended up being right. So I'll give him some credit for that. So I'll do Noelle and Sammy as my 2 best players of the episode.
I'm not mad about that.
Let's see. What did Derek say? I got it right here.
Yeah, Derek agreed with us with Noelle.
Yep.
And then his second one was Gabler.
Bad. That's a bad take.
Don't know about that one, Derek.
His thought is because Ryan went home and he made an alliance with Cody and Jesse. Okay, but he needs Ryan in the game to have a chance to win.
Yeah.
So I think that is a classic Derek bad take.
Bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of worst players.
Yeah, I'll get us started on the worst players this time. The first one I thought was easy, Gabler. The one person I think he was higher on in the pecking order to win, he voted out. Bad. Now, the second one I think is a little more interesting. I thought about putting Cassidy here. I do agree it's a little bit of an unreasonable expectation for her to work with Ryan, but the truly great players would have. So I want to give Cassidy a dishonorable mention. I am going to give my other one to Carla. It's great she won immunity, but she could have saved her closest ally or one of her closest allies and did not take that action, and she's in a worse spot because of it. Or she could have just put her foot down and said, no, I want to vote out Owen, and told Sammy to do that. Maybe Sammy would have gotten on the same page with her. So I think she made a move that worsened her game when she didn't have to. So I have Gabler and Carla.
Yeah, this was actually pretty easy for me. I had Carla and Gabler as well. One more notch to Gabler. I know you mentioned that he could have potentially beaten Ryan in this game. But also he had a confessional in the middle that was basically saying like, this is my game right now. Like it's working well. Like people are just coming to me. Okay. Like if you're like the kingpin and you are, getting everyone to come to you with their plans, great. That's not what this is. They're using you as a vote, basically just like, Gabler, go this way. Gabler, go this way. Cool. You are an easy vote along here. So his perception is just completely off on where he stands here.
Yeah, and they convinced him to vote out Ryan, which is, bad.
Yeah.
So he got used, and it just lessens his chance of winning even more. So that's pretty bad. Derek had Carla, agreed with us. Carla hurt her game pretty badly here. But he also put Sammy for playing both sides too hard, making the move with Carla. Yeah, I don't agree with that one, Derek. I could see kind of where he's coming from, but I think there were worse people than Sammy tonight.
Yeah, I understand his reasoning, but no. Nah.
Yeah, that it's not a horrible pick. It's not as bad as his Gabler pick, but it's not a good pick. Okay, let's get into who is going next. We're down to the final 8. Somebody's got to be in 8th place. Josh, who's it going to be?
This was actually kind of tough just because we don't know where the lines are going to be drawn here. My prediction is that Sammy's relationship that he somehow convinced Carla here of is going to pay dividends, and Carla and Cassidy are going to align with the rest of Baca here and take out a member of Vessi. Whether intentional or not, there's a bunch of idols over there on Vessi. So I'm gonna go with the one person who does not have an idol, and that's Noel.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna go a different direction. I think this is gonna blow up in Sammy's face. I think Sammy's going next. He's a big threat. They're gonna come from eventually. It seems like the perfect time.
Yeah.
And Derek agrees with me. Normally, I don't necessarily want Derek on my side because he's kind of an impaired judge, but I'll take it.
He's definitely up there. He was up there in my options. It'll be interesting how it flips if Carla and Cassidy go to Baca or if they go to Vessi, because I think they're going to stick together and they're kind of going to be the two swing votes here. So if it's someone on Baca, I could absolutely see it being Sammy.
Yeah. All right, let's get into who can now win this game. I've already spoiled mine, Gabler and Cassidy. Also, spoiler, Derek agrees with me. So Josh, take the floor. Who can now win this game?
All right, ready for some hot takes here?
Yeah, let's go.
It's Gabler.
Okay.
But who do we have left here? We have Sammy, Owen, Carla, Cassidy, Cody, Noel, and Jesse. I really only see 2 people here that it could be. One of them is Cassidy, but I'm not going with her. I'm going to go with Owen here.
Oh, okay. I thought Derek had locked in the worst take of the night, but wow. The old Westler.
Tell me one move that Owen has made in this game.
It doesn't matter. He's survived. He's the underdog. He's the underdog.
It will in the end.
He's the underdog. I think he
only
rises
gets you so far.
I think he rises and maybe tries to take credit for the James vote.
I mean, potentially, but I think that can get debunked so quickly. And I just see him getting to the end and getting like second place. Someone else beating him out. Maybe it's someone like Cassidy. Maybe it's someone else. I think that he very possibly gets dragged to the end and has not done enough to get people to actually vote for him. Yeah, they like him. Sure, that's great and all. People like Gabler too. So I have a hard time seeing how Owen makes his pitch at Final Tribal from a strategic standpoint.
I think he plays the underdog card. The only person I could see him losing to is maybe Carla.
Well, okay.
I think this is a hot take, but it's also a bad take.
Well, I said what I said.
You know what?
You're blinded.
I think you're blinded, Cassidy. Winner pick over there.
Says the person who doesn't have a winner pick.
Yeah. All right. So the last thing we got to do tonight, and we don't even need Derek for this one, is our survivor pool. We're both getting kind of desperate here, I think.
Yeah, it's getting a little dicey.
Who did you have?
Yeah, so we both survived again.
Yep.
I had Noel and you had Jesse.
Yeah.
And we were both right in assuming that they were both going to be safe. So that leaves both of us with only having 3 options. Both of us have Sammy and Cassidy to choose from still, but you still have actually no, I was wrong, because your third person was Ryan, who was just voted out. So you are down to only Sammy and Cassidy to choose from.
Yep. I'm in a dire position. And who do you got left? You got Sammy and Cassidy. And who's your third person?
I have Sammy and Cassidy and Owen.
Crap. Well, I'm in a tough spot. I'll go first. So I think Sammy's going next. So I'm gonna pick Cassidy and hope I'm wrong.
My winner pick. I also hope you're wrong.
So I'm gonna lock in Cassidy as my pick to survive.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Owen here. It's just even if I don't think that he can win the game, I think that he has a really strong shot of making it to the end and making it past just this next vote. So I'm gonna go Owen here. Hopefully neither Sammy or Cassidy goes home so that I have a leg up on Ryan here after this next episode.
Well, let's say Sammy goes home, you win.
True.
Because
True.
you
If
would
Sammy
have a
goes,
person left, and I wouldn't. So if Sammy goes home,
my
you
winner
win the
pick would
pool.
still be here.
Yep. So yeah, I'm in a very dangerous position, which I knew could happen with my strategy. There's definitely a possibility I could end up here,
Yep.
and I was hoping
Gonna
you
be
would make a
close.
mistake, and you haven't made one yet. So
Hey, Owen could
hopefully,
go home. This is basically your final shot.
yeah, basically, something crazy would have to happen. Okay, well that wraps things up here. You can follow us on Twitter at Castaway Pod. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. All that fun stuff, Facebook or whatever. Josh, you got anything else for us before we sign off here tonight?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
ya?
Good night.